Well, when the academy started, we originally had a partnership with Russell County High School, Lindsey Wilson College, Jack County High School, and the Lake Cumberland Technology Center. But I mean, it's exceeded my expectations in that we've won, 2 awards, and we're going to DC for the 2nd time. I never thought that would happen in the first, 3 years of the academy. Now we have 28 sophomores, 6 seniors, and about 15 juniors. These guys that you see behind me over here, they're seniors, so they started out as sophomores, and they were in a class of, I think, 15 or 16 starting out. So over the couple years, they've dwindled down to 6. But those that stick with it really have a great testimony before they leave, and that all the stuff that they've learned, the hands-on experience, the public speaking, the friendships that they've made with people that they never thought they would be good friends with, and it's just it's a very well-rounded program, I think.
What's the award mean to you, or to this program? What's it mean to the program?
I believe it gives Lindsey a good feeling about what they're putting their money into, first of all. I mean, I come out to the high school every day and teach and spend a lot of time out working on biodiesel and doing stuff with the community. We're starting a community recycling program in the city of Columbia, and so I help, with those community type projects as well. But I feel like when we get an award like this, it really makes people's, eyebrows raised and say, oh, they are, they're doing great stuff, or they're doing innovative things. And I think with Lindsey now being the sole funding source for the academy, that it would hopefully make them feel like we're doing something right.
Basically just people skills mainly, and about alternate forms of energy and how to use them. Pretty sure Ms. Spoon touched base on some of this as well. Just I wasn't friends with any of these people before I got into the academy, and now these are my closest friends, and learning how to be more of a people person.
The alternative energy and stuff like that. I'm totally into that. Solar panels, the wind turbines. I want to learn how to make one of those. Biodiesel. I'm all into saving energy and money most of all.
I've learned so much about new different kinds of energy and how we can use them to sustain different communities and everything. And I think solar panels, that's probably absolutely my favorite. Learning how exactly they work and how they plug straight into your electricity system, and power. They can save up to 50% in some houses if you have enough anyway. And that's amazing.
Good afternoon. I am so thrilled to be here, to be able to pay tribute to Judge Walter Baker today, and that all of you could be here. What an incredible turnout here on what day is this? Tuesday, Wednesday? I'm not sure. But anyhow, middle of the week, here after Memorial Day, that all of you cared enough to be here today. I think it says an awful lot about how beloved Walter Baker was, that you all made the effort and are here today. So thank you, first of all, for coming out. I think I first met Walter Baker about 25 years ago. I was thinking back to my first time as VP for Development back in 1987. We met for lunch at Bolton's Landing for the very first time, and that's going way back. I knew about his Harvard pedigree, and I must confess I was more than a little bit intimidated when I thought about sitting down and eating lunch with a Harvard graduate and a Harvard law graduate, and here I was, a 27-year-old fundraiser, and the thought of spending an hour with him just absolutely terrified me, I must confess. And partly because I was a first-generation college student. I mean, I'd grown up in Louisville, but my mother was a housekeeper. And I'd worked myself up to feel some anxiety over meeting lunch with this brilliant man that I didn't know very well. I suspect he may have sensed some of that fear in me, or maybe he was just that way with everyone. But he couldn't have been any warmer, couldn't have been any kinder, he couldn't have been any more engaging than what he was that day. Not only had he not forgotten about his Adair County roots, but he spoke with great passion and great appreciation for Adair County, for Lindsey Wilson College, and for the wonderful people at the Lindsey Wilson Training School. It was more than just not forgetting his roots. He loved the place, and he was proud of being from Adair County. He told stories about how he would spend hours in the stacks reading in our library and what a difference that opportunity had made in his life. He asked whether people in Adair County were still able to come up and use the college library. That was important to him. Now, we visited several times throughout the years, and we'd bump into each other at various functions and events, whether it was related to Kentucky Horse Cave Theater, or maybe we'd bump into each other at a ball game or a political event. We just would always tend to find each other. And he was always the same. He was always charming. He was always warm. He was always brilliant and affirming, and always had an encouraging word to say. You know, the Luckies and the Bakers, we have something in common that Jane and I talked about on Founders Day. It was rumored that our oldest daughter, Joanne, was the first Adair County student since Walter Baker to graduate from Adair County High School and to go to an Ivy League school as an undergraduate. In fact, when Jane and I talked, we figured out they were exactly 50 years apart. So that was a great thrill for us to be able to know that Joanne was the second, at least the second in the last 50 years. I'm sure Joanne right now would settle for just a fraction of the accomplishments that Judge Walter Baker has accomplished during his lifetime. What a statesman Walter Baker was, respected by both Democrats and Republicans. He had this uncanny ability to be revered by David Williams and Governor Patton at the very same time, which just speaks to his civility and decency. If ever we needed a Walter Baker in the world, it is today, I can promise you now. One of the last times that I saw Walter Baker, he told me about how much he had been enjoying visiting the college, and specifically reading from Dr. Clark's library. I had no idea he had even been up on campus. But he told me that he had been spending hour after hour reading from the same books that Dr. Thomas Clark had held in his hands, and how much he had treasured that opportunity. What an irony. And what a beautiful thing that people will now have the opportunity to read from the same books that were treasured and clutched in the hands of Judge Walter Baker. Jane, we are honored that you and Walter cared enough about Lindsey Wilson College to share a good bit of his personal library with us. We will treasure it just as Walter did. Thank you from the bottom of your hearts. The suspense is mounting. 1, 2, 3.
Well, I think when our students come back this fall, they will see a very different VP Henry. We have a fairly extensive renovation planned. The old period seats, I'm not exactly sure when they were originally put in there. I'm going to guess sometime before the Depression. They will be replaced with modern style, with modern day seating. It will be Blue Raider blue. We are also going to be doing new curtains for the stage. As I understand it, the curtains that are there were put there in 1977 when Dr. John Begley first came to campus. We'll be from a technical standpoint, we will be modernizing the facility. We're going to be putting in a computerized light board, a modern soundboard. We've already purchased this, the actors will now have Audio Technica wireless headsets We're redoing the dressing rooms upstairs, trying to put those back to the way that they used to be. The new curtains for the stage will hide the side walls, and we're doing a very extensive lighting package. So I think when the students come back, we'll have a theater that's actually made for theater. Since 2006, this campus has invested $39.6 million in projects, and when anybody comes to campus now, it's very easy for them to see all the changes that have happened here at Lindsey Wilson. I think this is just a logical step. If someone looks at our campus, they may not notice anything missing. If there is something missing, it's a fine and performing arts center. We're not at the point where we can do that yet, even though that there's one that's been talked about. But I think in the meantime that a renovated VP Henry to support our incredibly enthusiastic and talented theater program is something that we want to do.
This renovation of VP Henry will allow us to do theater as you want to do it. You want to be able to have really nice lighting, special effects lighting. You want good sound. You want different levels. You want to be able to do more. We're building balconies on either side of the stage, which will give us more levels, more space. It expands the stage, more comfortable seating. So that, it'll be a real theater experience, and it allows us the technical component for developing a theater major, which that's critical to a major, is to be able to train students in the technical aspects of theater too. Well, first of all, the support since I've gotten here, from the administration and faculty and students. People have wanted this. They want, they give me freedom, but they're supportive of, however I want to take this. And the support from the administration means a whole lot. There's not a lot of red tape here. We took the Godspell cast to New York City to see the Broadway revival of Godspell and have a workshop. There was support from the alumni office, and they helped us find people to donate money to help us do that trip. So it's like, what do you want to do here? You can make it happen, and there's going to be support of all kinds, and you can't beat that.